Hello, it's Kadisha. I'm back with another video. I was talking to this guy and it was so funny because he was saying how his child teaches him how he wants to be treated. And I was like, what, basically, like, what do you mean? And he went back to how he was saying the Lord does not send people to hell. And we basically send ourselves because we have the choice. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Because, of course, I feel the same way, that the Lord provides us with everything that we need to live a godly life, and it's up to us to do that. And if we don't do that, then there's consequences for that. But when he put it in a little bit more of a different perspective, when he said, well, basically, people will teach you how they want to be treated. And I've always heard the saying, like, you teach people how you want to be treated. Never heard it the opposite way. And so when I heard it that way, I was like, okay, so, where are you going with this? And he gave me the example of his child knowing that he's not supposed to touch something that belongs to him. And he was like, yeah, one day my child just picked it up and he was looking at me. And I told him, and he knows he's doing something wrong, but he's still like looking at me, trying to see, is he getting away with something? And he knows at a very young age that consequences come with our actions. And so I was just like, man, that is such a good illustration that oftentimes I feel like goes unnoticed, because we want to decide basically the consequences for our actions. And I've talked about this plenty of times before, so I don't want to get on my soapbox here, but I just want us to realize that we have the power to change whatever it is that's going on in our lives. No, you're not in control of what happens when other people do things. However, you are in control of how you respond to those things. And so you have to realize that the Lord has given you the biggest, most greatest ability, and not just talking, but the power of choice. And so we get to decide what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it. And so if you go against whatever the Lord has said, then remember that there is consequences for that, and so there will be a price to pay. And that's something that we also have to realize. It's just like we have to take accountability for our actions. I was talking with this person, they was telling me about something that was going on in their lives, and I just realized that they are the blame for it, but I don't want to be the person who kind of pour salt on a wound, because it was a tough situation to talk about. And I just let them talk through it, and I just kind of gave them advice on how to move forward in the situation, because beating someone down with a stick is not necessarily going to help. We have to treat people, and I don't want to say hold people, with kid gloves, that's the saying, but we do have to treat people the way we want to be treated, and realize, like, when people are in situations, we don't necessarily see it the way other people who can see it on the outside. But we do need to have people around us that are going to hold us accountable and say, okay, yeah, this is not right, so let me tell you what we're seeing, and then it's up to you to take that ability or that accountability and move forward in it. So yeah, the Lord is teaching me every single day that I am basically teaching him how to treat me, and that is if I'm obedient or disobedient with whatever it is that he's called me to do. I have the choice to decide if I'm gonna get up, go to work. If I don't get up and go to work, then I may not get money to pay my bills, and then I may get put out, and then all those things have a trickle down effect. But we don't oftentimes think about it like that. We think like, oh, if I do this, I'm not hurting anybody, and we want to be in this world of, I can do whatever I want and it will not affect other people. And I'm here to just allow you to realize that that's not true. So you have to get to the place where you realize that your choices are going to impact not only yourself, but those around you and future generations. So we have to decide if we want to continue down this road of being the example that the Lord has called us to be, or we want to just wallow in self-pity. So thank you so much for watching this video. Like I always say, sa cambio que quieres ver en otros. Until next time, bye.